I'm at the Radisson Blue Edwardian Hotel in Bloomsbury Street for the Hidden Prologues literary salon, and I'll be talking about what inspired me to become a writer in the first place and the inspiration specifically behind my newest book, Tigerman. Tigerman's my third novel, and it's very much from the heart. It's a story about international malfeasance and criminality. It's also about heroes and masked vigilantes, but most of all, it's about becoming a dad. And I was becoming a dad when I started writing it, so it was obviously a very personal book for me. So summer's coming up and it's time for some really great reading, and if you want a really zinging beach read and a thriller, you can't really do better than Beat the Reaper by Josh Pizzelle. This is one of my favourite thrillers for many years. It's about a guy who used to be a mobster and is now a doctor, and his past that comes back to haunt him. It is hilarious and it's fabulous and it's terrifying, and there are sharks. The next one would be Bleeding Edge by Pynchon, arguably his most accessible book, and an absolutely storming, strange thriller set in the run-up to September the 11th, but although it's under the shadow of that, it's not a September the 11th story about a woman who is a fraud investigator in New York running across an increasingly strange sequence of events inside the digital community that's building in New York and outside it as well. It's a strange, incredibly exciting read. Bleeding Edge is a long book. It's very engrossing. You want to be able to focus on it. It's not something you're going to be able to read easily on the tube in 15-minute bursts, but if you're on the beach, perfect. Another cracking read for the holidays, Warm Bodies by Marion. The first time I've ever cared about a zombie book, but I was absolutely fascinated by this book. It's a love story, it's a story about overcoming fundamentalism, and it's a parable about the war on terror, and it's about zombies. It's great, it's fun, it's strange, and it'll make you smile. Another book, everybody talks about it, but a lot of people don't actually read it, The Count of Monte Cristo by Alexandre Dumas, which is an absolutely storming read. It's a long, involved, tensely plotted conspiracy about a man who's falsely accused, ends up thrown into the darkest prison in France and finally escapes, gets his way out to take his revenge. And it is just a remarkable read, and it will leave you breathless at every turn. So it's perfect for just enjoying the time by the sea. And finally, if you want something that's completely nuts, when I'm on holiday, particularly if I've had a couple of glasses of wine the night before, I sometimes like to read something that's a bit weird, you know, to kind of get through the first half of the day. Red Dock by Anne Carson is strange and affecting. It's very exciting. It's technically a poem, but it's also a prose novel. It's a journey. It's almost hallucinogenic, and I can guarantee it's going to blow your mind. And finally, if you're taking something to read to your kids, for me it's got to be Winnie the Pooh. Those stories, I grew up with them and I love them, and I was reading to my daughter the other night, and they still are completely engrossing.